Hey guys, what's up? So in this video I'm going to talk about RStudio. So I like to do a lot of things in RStudio. At work I do a lot of my reports, a lot of my documentation, my notes, exploratory data analysis, kind of like a beginning intro data science type person. Trying to get into data science and a lot of stuff around that, so I use a lot of RStudio. You can use it for a lot of different things. You could run a blog with R packages. You could run reports and documentation with R Markdown. You can do diagrams with Diagram R. Shiny at dashboards. Like, you can do a lot of things. Just like any programming language, you can do a lot of things with R. R is kind of a weird language, but it's growing on me. I like a lot of the things I can do with the documentation. So in this laptop, because this is all terminal applications, I did actually want RStudio and VS Code for software development and just general software things. So those are not terminal applications. I'm not going to do everything in Vim. I actually did want these, but how can I get them? They're not in the actual Arch repository because they are proprietary software. So that's where the AUR comes in. So the AUR, which I talked about in my previous video, has a bunch of packages related to RStudio. The one I used is this one with the most votes, RStudio Desktop-bin. I used this one because I actually saw a talk at one of the R conferences. I wasn't there. I mean, I saw it on YouTube. But the guy who actually maintains the repo was giving a talk. Ironically, he also had a ThinkPad at the talk. So this is the package that he maintains. So I went to this package and I did follow the steps in my AUR video for downloading the package. I have my programs directory with RStudio Desktop-bin in it. I made the package and I made my script that actually will call the binary, disown it from the terminal, and then close the terminal so I can just easily do this. RStudio closes the terminal, opens the application. Huzzah, RStudio. I also like that it loads a lot faster on this computer than my normal work machine, so that's cool. But this doesn't look like your normal RStudio. RStudio usually has a lighter theme. So, I mean, obviously I have already implemented my settings. So along my settings, I have my own, just the general normal settings for code and appearance. I do actually have my own custom snippets file for Markdown documents due to some of the issues I've just come across when I'm writing my own work-related reports. And actually my theme in here, my color theme, the appearance is not one of the pre-built-in options. I use a Git repo for a theme called RStudio. Sadly, you actually need to use admin rights for this, so I can't use it at work. I just use the Dracula theme. But on my own home machine, I actually use the RStudio theme because I like how it looks. I like VS Code's theme and the colors. So you can see some of that here. It looks like the color theme of VS Code, which I really like. The only issue is that I already put an issue in the Git repo, is that when you're doing bold text like this, and you start typing, maybe it's just my computer, my Windows machine, but normally there's some issue with the text sizing, and whatever. But I guess it's just on my Windows machine. Interesting. But so that's what I have. So on my GitHub page, I have my repo for RMD, R Markdown snippets. And I wrote a bunch of custom snippets for what I wanted to do with my Markdown documents, for images, for tables. I mean, you could just do like an HTML table, but that's defeats the whole point of using Markdown. So when we go to this one, there we go. So I have like a default code chunk, and these shortcuts, the T shortcuts, these are all for tables. So the table and the number is how many columns, and you have tab stops for each column header in the first row of data, and then it'll start you in the second row of data. This way, if you're manually typing something, like this is the issue, is that when you're in our Markdown and you don't want to import something from like a spreadsheet or have a data frame already made up or some sort of data set, you can just, tab through a data table like this. And then I even have it set up for from 1 to 9 column tables. This way you can just have it set up, because the real annoying thing is doing like all the typing of all these pipes, because once you're down here, you can just copy this row or whatever where you're at and just paste, however many rows you need. Because if it's just like an ad hoc table and it's not something like well structured that you did with a CSV or an Excel file or something, then this is just a quick and dirty way of just getting it done, and not having to worry too much about having to type it all out. Here's the picture. I've had issues using just the normal Markdown, exclamation point, brackets, parentheses. I've had issues with it. I'm not sure why, but I've seen it also advised to just use the knitter function, include graphics, and then with the file path, that works just fine. So I've just been doing that. So when I just want a picture, I just do pick. And if I actually use it, there's Markdown picture. Breaks. So actually what I did for our Markdown documents, especially for my work ones, I can't export to PDF using the LaTeX package because I'm on a firewalled system, and I've tried a lot of things. The TinyText package in RStudio, the LaTeX MikTeX distribution for my PC, but LaTeX is bloat. But anyways, I tried to install it. I tried to make it work, and I think I just have to have it installed as admin, which I'm not going to get IT to do. So I can't export to PDF directly using LaTeX, which sucks because I like that look. So what I did is I export to Word, and people have come up with like workarounds. So when you export to Word, you can actually feed our Markdown a template document that has the style formatting that you want on a Word document. So in this case, I have like my color presets, my fonts, my sizing, all of that type of stuff. But I also changed the formatting for header number, it looks like 5. So anytime I have a 5th level header, because it goes 1 to 6, a 5th level header, I actually have it formatted to be 0-point font, start on the next line. So basically I made that header a line break or a page break. So this way I can easily insert a break into my pages of our Markdown, because normally you can just do that with \page break in LaTeX when you have a LaTeX package or distribution or all that stuff. I don't have that, so I did this as the workaround for making page breaks in my Markdown documents. I have footnote stuff easily done, because sometimes doing brackets and numbers and then the caret symbols kind of just like meh. I just want to do footnote FN and then do that key, so I don't have to type as many characters. And then I also have a snippet for GG, which is just like a basic ggplot, and I have all the tab stops through here. So I'm constantly adding to this when I encounter a snippet I enjoy, or it solves a problem. I keep this updated. I don't really add too many. Like last time I updated this was like 15 days ago, but I do keep this updated, and this is just like my normal snippets. So I just copied all of this, and then I go to Tools in RStudio, Global Options, Code, and Edit Snippets at the bottom, and this will actually show you all the snippets for all the language files that you will open in RStudio. So you can see here I already have mine. I just copy and paste over everything already in here because I know what I want with our Markdown. I don't do anything with R yet, but our Markdown, yes. So one thing to note, this is one issue I did come across, which is why I might actually have to start doing my own R ones, is that when I want to do this in the general space of an R Markdown document, you can see my cursor over here. When I'm just in the space of the Markdown document, all of these will work. But if I want to do something like, let's just say, I don't know, if I want to do like any sort of plot or any of these shortcuts inside of an R chunk, a code chunk in here, none of them will work. The only snippets that work in the code chunks are the R snippets. So that's just something useful to know, is that if you're going to do a Markdown document with code snippets, these will only work in the Markdown space, but in code chunks, you actually have to put them in the R area, and then they'll work just fine. So that's what I did for my R snippets. Now, as for what I did for my RStudio theme, I used a package on GitHub called RStudio. That's why it has the VS Code color theme. So RStudio, right here on GitHub, will give you the theme, and all you need to do is, I do believe you need to have DevTools, the DevTools package installed, and then I think remotes is just a function in the DevTools package. But running this will actually install this package for you for the theme. It does tell you that you need to have admin rights, so that's why I can't really do this at work. And then after you have installed the package, you just run this function from RStudio, which is install theme, and you're good to go. And then when you go to RStudio to change your theme, because it'll be set as via RStudio, RStudio. Jesus, I can't talk today. It'll set to this automatically and overwrite whatever you have right now. But if you want to change it and go back to something else while still retaining the option to have RStudio, when you go to Appearance, it'll be in here. Like, you have your normal options. At work, I have Dracula, but I can go back to RStudio at any time, which is right there. So that's the package I use to make my RStudio look like this, and my snippets. Those are really and I check a couple of the other settings in the global options for code and appearance, but that's up to personal preference. And I do have Vim key bindings set in here, so HJKL does in fact work in here. GG to go to the top, capital G go bottom, etc. Delete, yank. It's Vim key bindings, so that's really cool. Anyways, this is how I have my RStudio set up, and I will catch you next time.